Your worst enemy isn't failure. It's this silent habit, the silent habit that destroys 99% of people. But Stoics defeat it. What if I told you the biggest enemy of your success isn't failure, but distraction? You've been waiting for the perfect moment, the right support, the green light from others. But here's the harsh truth. Nobody is coming to save you. Every day you delay, you trade pieces of your future for comfort, excuses, and noise. But imagine what would happen if you poured all that energy back into yourself, brick by brick, choice by choice. This isn't about chasing applause. This is about becoming unshakable. Stay with me, because today you'll learn why focusing on you is the only way to win. 1. The harsh but liberating truth. There's a truth most of us spend years avoiding, yet it follows us everywhere. No one is coming to save you. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when the stars align and life feels ready. The turning point in your life doesn't arrive by accident. It arrives when you stop scattering your energy outward and begin directing it inward. The Stoics knew this. Real freedom begins the moment you accept full ownership of your path. Your growth, your strength, your transformation, they don't depend on luck or permission, but on your decision to invest in yourself. Think about it. How many times have you delayed your future, waiting for encouragement, for support, for someone to say, "I believe in you"? Yet life was never designed to hand you validation first. The only vow that matters is the quiet one you make to yourself, the vow to commit, to act, to live with urgency. The reality stings, but it's also liberating. Because the life you dream of isn't in someone else's hands. It's already in yours. And every day you choose to act for yourself instead of waiting is a day that reshapes your destiny. 2. Failure as a teacher, not an enemy. The real danger in life isn't falling short. It's never beginning at all. Most people hesitate because they fear failure. But failure is not the end. It's proof that you tried. It's the evidence that you dared to step into the arena when others stood back. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This isn't about shouting grand declarations to the world. It's about the small, steady acts of self-discipline that stack over time. But here's the paradox. Our culture has twisted failure into shame, when in reality, it's the most honest teacher you'll ever meet. Think about a weightlifter. The bar feels unbearable at first, but each repetition, each struggle makes him stronger. Your failures work the same way. They are the resistance that builds resilience. Carl Jung offered a deep truth. The greatest and most important problems of life are fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, only outgrown. Failure, then, is not a wall to avoid. It is a stage to outgrow. And Seneca reminds us that life is not short, it is simply wasted. Every wasted day, every hour lost to fear or delay, is theft from your future. Failure might bruise you, but hesitation silently kills you. Which thief would you rather face? The one that wounds you into wisdom, or the one that quietly robs you of everything you might have been? 3. The power of focus and habits. Focus is like fire. Scattered, it flickers and dies. Concentrated, it can burn through steel. Every choice you make is a spark, and over time, those sparks either build a roaring flame of progress or vanish into smoke. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. That means greatness is never a single heroic moment. It's the accumulation of small disciplines, repeated daily, until they carve who you are. But the world fights for your attention. Every ping, every notification, every voice demanding your energy pulls you in 1,000 directions. And if you don't stand guard at the gates of your mind, someone else will. Distraction doesn't just waste time, it quietly builds a life you never wanted, brick by brick. Imagine instead what happens when you reclaim even half the energy you lose to noise. Replace comparison with action. Swap endless scrolling for building skills. Trade shallow entertainment for deep focus. Slowly, the compounding begins. Just as money invested wisely grows into wealth, your attention, invested in discipline, grows into character, clarity, and inner power. Focus is not glamorous. It doesn't bring applause or instant validation, but over months and years, it creates a strength no critic can shake and no failure can erase. To protect your focus is to protect your future. To master your habits is to master your destiny. 4. Persistence over inspiration. Inspiration is easy. It comes in waves. It excites you for a moment, It makes you believe change is simple, but persistence, that's the real test. Persistence is quiet, steady, and often invisible. And that's why so few people truly master it. Anyone can start when excitement is fresh. Anyone can take the first step when motivation is high, but only a few keep walking when the road stretches endlessly ahead, when the applause fades, when no one is watching. That is where greatness is built, out of silence and solitude. Seneca once said, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." Persistence gives direction to your sails. Without it, even the strongest winds, talent, opportunity, luck, mean nothing. With it, even storms can't break you. Think of the seed buried underground. For weeks, maybe months, nothing seems to happen. No one claps for the roots. No one praises the hidden growth. Yet beneath the surface, life is forming, preparing, pushing. One day it breaks through the soil, not suddenly, but because of persistence. Your growth works the same way. The invisible seasons, the long stretches where progress feels hidden, are not wasted. They are the very crucibles where character is forged. Most people quit in those moments, mistaking silence for failure. But persistence whispers, keep going. The roots are forming. Inspiration will get you started. Persistence will get you finished. And the person who learns to endure the silent seasons will one day stand unshakable, with a strength that excitement alone could never build. 5. Failure, fear, and rejection. Failure is not your enemy, it is your mentor. Yet so often we treat it like a scarlet mark, something to hide or run from. But the truth is simple. Rejection and failure are not verdicts on your worth. They are directions toward your growth. Epictetus reminded his students, men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. Two people can face the same setback. One sees it as the end, the other as a lesson. The difference isn't in the event, but in the perspective. Carl Jung pushed this further. I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. Failure is an event, not an identity. You are not a failure because you failed. You only become one if you stop moving, if you let the stumble define your story instead of refining your strength. Think of a blade of steel. Unexposed to fire, it stays soft, fragile, and breakable. But put it into the flames, strike it again and again, and it transforms into something unyielding. Your setbacks are that fire. They heat you, they strike you, they threaten to break you. But in enduring them, you are tempered into someone stronger. The harsh reality? Avoiding rejection doesn't protect you, it weakens you. Every time you hesitate out of fear, you practice hesitation. And hesitation, repeated enough, becomes your default identity. It silently erodes potential. But each time you face rejection, you practice resilience. Each time you endure failure, you gain wisdom. Each time you rise after falling, you carve endurance into your character. This is why the Stoics saw failure not as humiliation, but as a training ground. Fear will always whisper. Rejection will always sting. But if you lean into them instead of running, you'll discover the paradox. What once felt like a curse becomes your most valuable strength. 6. Distraction, the silent killer. Failure hurts, but at least it teaches you something. Distraction is far more dangerous because it feels harmless. It doesn't wound loudly, it steals quietly. One glance at your phone, 1 hour of scrolling, one night lost in noise, and brick by brick, you build a life you never truly chose. Seneca warned, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Distraction is that waste in disguise. It convinces you that you're simply passing time, but in truth, you are surrendering pieces of your future. Think about it. Failure you can see, pain you can feel, but distraction, it slides by unnoticed. It's like pouring water into sand, energy drained into nothing. And the cost isn't just today's wasted hour, it's the compounding effect of years lost to meaningless noise. Carl Jung revealed this danger clearly. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Distraction is exactly that, an unconscious habit that slowly shapes your destiny while you tell yourself it's nothing. But what if you reclaimed even half that wasted energy? Imagine replacing comparison with creation, endless scrolling with building, noise with silence. Slowly, you discover a new kind of wealth, the wealth of focus. And like money compounded, each moment invested wisely grows exponentially into strength, knowledge, and clarity. The danger was never failure. The real thief has always been distraction. And if you don't stand guard against it, you'll one day look back and realize you didn't just lose hours, you lost yourself. 7. Environment and self-mastery. Discipline doesn't live in willpower alone. Even the strongest mind will crumble if it swims in a sea of distractions. That's why true self-mastery begins with shaping the world around you. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." But mastery is not only about inner control. It's about creating conditions where discipline can thrive. You cannot expect to plant seeds of focus in a field full of weeds and wonder why nothing grows. Look at your environment. Is it feeding your vision or starving it? The desk cluttered with noise, the phone buzzing endlessly, the circle of people who drag you into their chaos, these are silent saboteurs. If you do not remove them, they will remove your potential. This is not a weakness. It is wisdom. The strongest people are not those who fight temptation every second. They are the ones who design a life where temptation rarely enters. A fortress is not built by sheer resistance, but by strong walls. Your routines, your habits, your physical space, these are your walls of defense. Think of a craftsman's workshop. Every tool is in place, every distraction pushed aside, and the air itself seems to invite creation. That's the power of the environment. It doesn't just support your focus, it commands it. To master yourself, you must master the ground you stand on. Because the battle for your attention is not one only in your mind, it is one in the places, routines, and rituals you choose every day. 8. Restlessness and ambition. That uneasy feeling you carry, the late-night restlessness, the quiet frustration, isn't weakness. It's your deeper self-calling. It's the gap between who you are today and who you know you could become. Aristotle observed, all human action aims at some good. When your energy isn't directed toward that higher good, it spills into lesser things, distractions, envy, dissatisfaction. That's why restlessness burns so heavily inside you. It's not there to torture you. It's a compass pointing toward the life you're meant to build. Think about the nights you end with progress, no matter how small. A workout finished, a page written, a new lesson learned. You sleep in peace. Compare that to the nights wasted in empty scrolling or shallow distractions. You feel heavier, dissatisfied, even bitter at yourself. That contrast is proof. Progress is fuel, and without it, the soul starves. The danger is when people mistake ambition for arrogance. They fear aiming high because ambition requires risk. But avoiding ambition doesn't protect you, it drains you. A river without current becomes a swamp. A life without ambition becomes the same, stagnant, lifeless, restless. Ambition is not about chasing applause or status. It's about honoring the fire that refuses to die inside you. It's the voice that whispers, "You were meant for more." Ignore it and it rots into regret. Follow it and it gives your life direction, strength, and meaning. So when you feel restless, don't numb it. Don't drown it in noise. Listen, because that restlessness isn't a curse, it's the seed of transformation, asking if you're brave enough to grow. 9. Building self-trust. Confidence is not built from applause or praise. It's forged in the silence of promises kept to yourself. The world can cheer for you, but if deep down you know you've broken your own word, the praise will always feel hollow. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." At first, this seems simple, but when lived consistently, it becomes the foundation of integrity. And integrity is what transforms self-doubt into self-respect. Every time you tell yourself you'll wake up early and don't, every task you promise to finish but abandon, you're not just losing time, you're weakening the bond with yourself. Identity is built one choice at a time. Repeated failures to keep your word cast votes for a version of you who is inconsistent, unreliable, and untrustworthy. And soon you begin to believe that reflection. But the opposite is also true. Each small promise honored is a brick in the fortress of self-trust. Waking up when you said you would, finishing the workout you swore you'd complete, saying no to what you once always gave into. These are not small victories, they are proof, and proof creates identity. Confidence, then, isn't something you chase. It's something that emerges naturally when you can rely on yourself. It's walking into any situation knowing, whatever happens, I will not abandon myself. That kind of trust is unshakable. You can fool others with appearances, but you cannot fool yourself. And until you trust yourself, no external validation will ever be enough. 10. Freedom from approval. One of the subtlest prisons in life is the chase for approval. At first, it seems harmless, a smile, a nod, a compliment. But soon, it becomes an addiction, and every decision you make is shaped by the shifting opinions of others. Marcus Aurelius warned, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." When you live for their approval, you trade authenticity for applause. You shape your dreams to fit their comfort, and in doing so, you betray yourself. Approval is unstable. People praise you today and criticize you tomorrow. If your worth is tied to their opinion, your foundation is built on sand. A single wave of criticism will wash it away. Think of a musician who changes his song every time the crowd frowns. He will never create something timeless because he never played from truth, only from fear. The same happens to your life. Watered down goals, diluted dreams, victories that feel empty because they were never yours to begin with. Jung reminded us, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Approval seeking keeps you dreaming someone else's dream. Freedom begins when you withdraw inward, when you listen to your own voice above the noise. This doesn't mean rejecting people altogether. It means putting their opinions in their rightful place. Background noise, not steering wheels. You listen, but you do not obey blindly. You consider, but you do not compromise your truth. Because approval is never the prize, it was always the prison. The real prize is authenticity, the freedom to live aligned with your values, even if no one claps. And when you stop needing validation, that's when respect finally comes. Because people recognize the gravity of someone who stands firm in their own truth. 11. Silence and inner strength. Silence is not emptiness, it is power. In a world obsessed with noise, silence becomes a rare form of strength, the kind that allows you to hear your own voice when everyone else is shouting theirs. Seneca once wrote, "He who is brave is free," and one of the bravest acts today is to step away from constant validation, to detach from the chaos, and to sit in stillness. Because in silence, both praise and criticism lose their grip on you. You are no longer crushed by insults or intoxicated by applause. You stand steady, grounded in your own worth. Think about how the ocean works. On the surface, storms rage, waves crash, winds roar. But dive deep enough and everything is calm, untouched. That is what silence does for the mind. It pulls you beneath the storms of opinion into a depth where clarity and strength live. Most people run from silence because it feels uncomfortable. It reveals truths they'd rather avoid. How much of their life has been shaped by fear, by comparison, by the hunger to be liked. But discomfort is not your enemy. It is the invitation to grow. In silence, you begin to see clearly which desires are yours and which were planted by others, which goals serve your spirit and which were borrowed for approval. Silence strips away illusions until only truth remains. And here's the paradox. When you stop performing for validation and root yourself in inner silence, people respect you more. They sense authenticity. They feel your stability. But by then, their respect is no longer your goal. It is only a side effect. Because the true gift of silence isn't how the world sees you, it's how you see yourself. Unshaken, free, strong enough to move with purpose, even if you walk alone. 12. Persistence through discomfort. Comfort is seductive. It whispers lies in your ear. Rest now, you've done enough. Skip just this once, tomorrow will be different. But every time you obey, you drift a little further from the life you claim to want. Epictetus said, "Difficulties show what men are. Struggle is the stage where character is revealed, not in the easy days, but in the days when you want to quit." Anyone can move forward when excitement is high. Few can keep going when energy is low, when progress feels invisible, when the path feels endless. That is where persistence is born. Think of a runner near the end of a marathon. The crowd is behind him. His body is screaming, his lungs are on fire. Every instinct begs him to stop. Yet with one more step, and then another, he discovers a new strength, the kind only discomfort can unlock. Your life works the same way. Comfort promises relief, but delivers regret. Discomfort demands effort, but delivers growth. Which trade will you make? Because every moment you choose comfort, you train weakness. Every moment you endure discomfort, you train resilience. Persistence is not glamorous. It's not the viral highlight, the applause, or the quick reward. It's the quiet decision to show up again and again and again, even when nobody notices, even when results are hidden. And that decision is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Inspiration gets you started. Persistence through discomfort gets you finished. The Stoics understood this deeply. The path of discipline is not about ease, it's about endurance. Because the man who learns to keep walking when comfort begs him to stop is the man who becomes unshakable. 13. Patience and trust in the process. Progress is rarely loud. It rarely announces itself in the moment you want it to. More often, it hides underground, like roots spreading beneath the soil before a tree finally breaks through into the light. Seneca once wrote, "It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness." That road feels rough because growth is slow, invisible, sometimes painfully quiet, and this silence is where most people quit. They mistake the hidden season for failure, when in truth, it is the foundation being laid. Patience is not passive waiting, it is active faith. It's waking up each day, showing up for your goals, pouring effort into the process, even when results are invisible. It's choosing to believe that every disciplined act, no matter how small, is compounding into something greater. Think of a sculptor. Day after day, he chips away at the stone. To the outside world, it looks like nothing but dust and fragments. But with time, a figure begins to emerge, proof that persistence and silence creates transformation. Your life is no different. The danger is impatience. It convinces you to abandon the river before it carves the valley, to stop watering the plant before it blooms. But trust in the unseen is what separates those who stumble from those who endure. Patience transforms time from an enemy into an ally. Each day of effort isn't wasted, it's an investment. Every page read, every workout finished, every distraction resisted is a seed. And in time, those seeds will break the surface in ways that seem sudden to the world, but you'll know it was years in the making. The Stoics understood. Greatness doesn't grow in one leap. It grows drop by drop, brick by brick, choice by choice. Trust the process. Because the road may be slow, but it is certain. 14. Cutting out inner distractions. Not all distractions come from the outside world. Some of the most dangerous ones live inside your own mind. Overthinking, replaying mistakes, imagining disasters that haven't even happened. These inner thieves are subtle, but they drain your energy faster than any notification ever could. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And it's true. How much of your life have you wasted worrying about events that never occurred? You pay the price for fears that were only illusions, while your real future remains unfunded. Self-doubt whispers, "You're not ready." Regret says you should have done more. Overthinking asks, "What if everything goes wrong?" These voices don't protect you. They paralyze you. They keep you rehearsing failures instead of creating victories. But here's the key. Thoughts are not commands. They are passing clouds. If you choose not to hold on, they drift away. Courage silences doubt. Action ends overthinking. Learning transforms regret into wisdom. Imagine you're in a room with 1,000 doors. Each inner distraction convinces you to stand frozen, analyzing every option. But the truth is, clarity only comes once you move. Choosing one door, even the wrong one, teaches you more than standing still ever will. Inner distractions compound just like external ones. Leave one doubt unchecked, and it multiplies into hesitation, then inaction, regret. But the opposite is also true. One act of courage silences 100 doubts. One clear decision ends paralysis. One lesson taken from failure frees you from the endless replay. To cut out inner distractions is not about perfection, it's about awareness. It's noticing when the wrong voices knock and choosing not to let them in. Because when you guard not only your environment but also your inner world, you reclaim the most sacred power you have, your focus. 15. Rising after setbacks. Setbacks are inevitable. Plans collapse, efforts fail, storms hit without warning. But falling is never the failure. Staying down is. Every rise, no matter how small, is proof that your spirit is stronger than circumstance. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." You cannot always control the fall, but you always control the rise. And each rise transforms you into someone tougher, steadier, harder to break. Think about the gem. It cannot shine without friction. A blade cannot be sharpened without pressure. And a person cannot be perfected without fearlessly, and each fall becomes not a defeat but a stepping stone. The Stoics remind us, a fall is temporary, but the decision to rise shapes you forever. 16. Interconnected growth. Growth in one area of life is never isolated. It spills into everything else. Strengthen your discipline and your relationships improve because you bring patience and clarity. Strengthen your health and your work sharpens because you carry more energy and focus. Strengthen your self-trust and every choice you make carries quiet confidence. Seneca said, "A man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is." The truth hidden in this is simple. When your mind is scattered, every part of life reflects that chaos. But when your mind is steady, everything begins to align. Think of a tree. Its roots are invisible, buried deep in the soil. Yet those hidden roots feed every branch, every leaf, every fruit. Your inner discipline works the same way. It may be invisible to others, but it nourishes every part of your external life. This is why focusing on yourself is never selfish. It is generous. Because everyone connected to you benefits from your growth. A calmer mind makes you a steadier friend. A disciplined spirit makes you a more reliable partner. A healthier body makes you more present for the people who depend on you. When you neglect yourself, everything else slowly decays. But when you build yourself, everything else quietly rises with you. This interconnected growth is not magic, it's alignment. It's the natural consequence of tending to the source, you. And perhaps the greatest reward is peace. Not the fragile peace of having no problems, but the unshakable peace of knowing you can handle them. That peace radiates outward, reshaping not just your own life, but the lives of everyone who crosses your path. 17. The true prize. At the end of this long path, you'll realize something powerful. The true prize was never the recognition, the money, or the applause. Those are fleeting. The real prize is who you became along the way. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And through the daily battles, against distraction, against comfort, against fear, you've been shaping not just your thoughts, but your very identity. You've become someone who does not quit at the first sign of struggle. Someone who no longer bends to every opinion or drowns in the noise of validation. Someone who trusts themselves fully because they have proven time and again that their word means something. That self-trust is priceless. It is the foundation of unshakable confidence, the quiet strength that no storm can strip away. And it radiates through every part of your life, your work, your health, your relationships, your vision. Here lies the paradox. Once you stop chasing external prizes as your ultimate measure, they begin to flow toward you naturally. Why? Because authenticity carries a gravity that cannot be faked. People feel it. Opportunities align with it. But even if they didn't, it wouldn't matter, because the prize was already yours. The real victory was never out there. It was always within. It was in the discipline built brick by brick, the resilience forged through trials, the clarity sharpened through silence. So yes, one day you may reach the goals you dreamed of. But when you do, you'll see clearly. The ultimate win was becoming someone unshakable, someone you yourself can rely on. That is the essence of Stoicism. That is the essence of focusing on you until you win. And so remember this, no matter how heavy the road feels, no matter how long the silence stretches, every choice to persist, every act of discipline, every refusal to bow to distraction is building you into someone unshakable. The real win is not out there, it is within you. Thank you for walking this journey with me. If this message has touched you, I invite you to take it as more than just words. Take it as a quiet vow to yourself, to grow daily, to guard your focus, to trust your strength. We are building not just a life, but a character that can endure, adapt, and rise no matter what storms may come. That is the true path of Stoicism. Thank you for being part of this community of wisdom and resilience. If this video gave you clarity or courage, please like, share, and subscribe so together we can grow stronger, wiser, and more unshakable.